Secrets of the Viking explorers. Imagine a world where brave sailors crossed angry oceans, not knowing what was ahead. They were called Vikings, and their ships were faster and stronger than anyone else's. But what if the stories we tell about them are missing some big, unbelievable secrets? For hundreds of years, we thought we knew all about the Vikings. We pictured them as fierce warriors, raiding and exploring. Yet, deep in old texts and new science, a different picture is starting to appear. A picture of explorers who went far, far beyond what history books normally say. The common story tells us Vikings reached North America around the year 1000. Leif Erikson, a famous Viking, landed in a place he called Vinland. This discovery was huge, proving that Europeans reached America long before Christopher Columbus. This fact itself was a forgotten event for many centuries, only truly accepted in the mid-20th century, according to a 1960 article in National Geographic that detailed the finding of Lance aux meadows in Newfoundland. But what if Vinland wasn't their only secret? What if their voyages took them to places even more distant, places that would make your jaw drop? The idea seems wild, but clues are popping up that make us question everything. These clues are not just old tales, they are hidden in ancient writings, found in the ground, and even seen in old maps. Let's go back to the beginning. The Vikings were people from Northern Europe. They lived in places like Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Their world was cold and tough. To survive and grow, they looked to the sea. They were masters of boat building. Their longships were amazing for their time, light enough to sail in shallow rivers, but strong enough to cross wide, open oceans. But these ships had a special design. They were shallow, which meant they could sail close to land without hitting rocks. But they also had tall sails and strong hulls that could handle big waves. This combination made them perfect for both raiding villages along coasts and exploring unknown seas. A detailed analysis in the Journal of Maritime Archaeology in 2018 highlighted the advanced hydrodynamic design of Viking longships, showing how they maximized speed and stability. The Vikings weren't just strong, they were smart. They learned how to navigate by the sun, the stars, and even the flight paths of birds. They knew how to read the ocean currents and the patterns of the wind. They had a deep, practical understanding of their world, much like today's top sailors. This knowledge allowed them to travel without modern tools like compasses, which had not yet arrived in Europe. Their first big journeys were often to find new land to farm or to trade. They settled in places like Iceland and Greenland. These were harsh, cold lands, but the Vikings were determined. They built farms, raised families, and made new lives for themselves. These settlements, especially in Greenland, struggled with the changing climate over centuries, as documented by a 2013 study in Nature Geoscience on Greenland ice core data. The journey to Greenland was a huge undertaking. It was a long, cold trip across dangerous waters. Imagine sailing for days, seeing nothing but water, hoping you were going in the right direction. It took incredible bravery and skill. But once they got there, they faced new challenges, like short growing seasons and scarce resources. From Greenland, it was just one more step to North America. Leif Erikson followed stories of land seen by another Viking, Bjarni Herjolfsson. Bjarni had been blown off course and saw new lands, but did not go ashore. Leif, driven by curiosity and the Viking spirit, decided to explore these lands himself. He gathered a crew and set sail. When Leif and his crew landed in Vinland, they found a place full of trees, wild grapes, and salmon. It was a much warmer and richer land than Greenland. They tried to set up a settlement there, but they met the local people, whom they called Skrælings. These encounters often turned violent, and the Vikings eventually left, their stay in Vinland lasting only a few years, as detailed by archaeological findings at Lance aux meadows and further supported by carbon dating results published in Radiocarbon in 2021. This discovery of Vinland was kept quiet for a long time. It was written in sagas, which are long, heroic stories. But for centuries, people thought these sagas were just myths. It wasn't until archaeologists found real evidence in Canada that the truth came out. This proves that history can hide big secrets, only to reveal them much later. But what if the Vikings went even further south than Vinland? Some brave thinkers suggest they might have reached places like the Caribbean or even South America. This sounds impossible, right? How could they cross the vast Atlantic Ocean and then sail even further south, through warmer, unknown waters? The idea seems crazy, but a few intriguing pieces of evidence fuel these theories. One such piece is the controversial Kensington runestone. Found in Minnesota in 1898, this stone has strange carvings that look like Viking writing. If real, it would mean Vikings traveled deep into the American heartland, far from the coast. However, its authenticity is highly debated among experts, with many, including a 2015 analysis by the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, concluding it's likely a hoax from a later time. Still, the very idea sparks curiosity. What if some Vikings, perhaps looking for better farming land or new trade goods, ventured south along the American coast? The currents along the east coast of North America could have pulled them southward. While the evidence is thin, the Viking spirit of adventure knows no bounds. Another wild theory suggests Vikings might have reached parts of Africa. This is even harder to believe. The journey would be incredibly long and dangerous. But Viking trade routes were extensive, reaching into Russia and the Middle East. They were not afraid to go far for valuable goods like silver, spices, and silks. Archaeological finds in Burka, Sweden, dating back to the Viking Age, include Arabic coins and silk fragments, demonstrating their far-reaching trade networks, as documented by the Swedish National Heritage Board. Could a ship have been blown off course? Or perhaps an especially daring crew decided to explore beyond their known world? Imagine a Viking longship sailing into the hot, sunny waters off the coast of Africa. The cultural shock would be immense. The people, the climate, the animals, everything would be completely alien to them. Some fringe theories even link Viking symbols or genetic markers to distant, unexpected places. These claims are often met with extreme skepticism by mainstream historians and geneticists who point to lack of credible archaeological or genetic evidence. For instance, while some modern genetic studies track ancient migration patterns, none have conclusively linked Viking populations to widespread presence in sub-Saharan Africa or deep into South America, according to a 2019 review in Nature Communications on ancient DNA studies. But let's think about the mindset of these explorers. They were not just raiders. They were traders, settlers, and incredible boat builders. They pushed boundaries. When they discovered Iceland, then Greenland, then Vinland, each time they expanded their world map. For them, the edge of the world was always a little further away. The climate played a big role in their explorations. During a period called the Medieval Warm Period, roughly from 950 to 1250 AD, the world was a little warmer than usual. This meant less sea ice in the North Atlantic, making voyages to places like Greenland and Vinland easier. This climatic factor is often overlooked, but was crucial, as discussed in a 2010 paper in Quaternary Science Reviews. This warmer period might have encouraged more daring voyages. If the seas were calmer and the ice less of a threat, what would stop a truly adventurous crew from pushing further than anyone before? The possibility of finding new lands, new resources, or new people to trade with would be a powerful motivation. Consider the sagas again. While some parts are exaggerated, they often contain kernels of truth. They talk about strange creatures, new plants, and powerful storms. These details, once seen as pure fantasy, might be descriptions of real experiences in unfamiliar places. The saga of Eric the Red and the Greenland saga, while sometimes conflicting, offer valuable insights into their expeditions to North America. One of the most fascinating, forgotten aspects of Viking exploration is their influence on indigenous cultures they encountered. In Vinland, the Vikings met Native Americans. While their interactions were often hostile, there must have been some exchange. Did the Native Americans learn anything from the Vikings? Did the Vikings take back any new ideas or technologies? Archaeological evidence at Lance aux Meadows shows that Vikings traded with the local people. They found tools and objects that likely belonged to the indigenous people. This suggests moments of peaceful exchange alongside the conflict. It paints a picture of complex interactions, not just simple battles. A 2020 study in American Antiquity explored evidence of material culture exchange between Norse and indigenous peoples. The story of the Vikings is not just about where they went, but how they remembered it. Their history was passed down orally for generations before being written down. This process of storytelling can change details, make heroes grander, and sometimes hide inconvenient truths. Perhaps some voyages were so strange or unsuccessful that they were simply not remembered in the main sagas. Think about the sheer number of ships they built and the people who sailed them. Not every ship made it back. Not every journey was a success. The ocean is a harsh mistress. Many longships and their crews were lost to storms, ice, or unknown dangers. These lost voyages are the ultimate forgotten events, swallowed by the sea. But what if some of these lost ships didn't just sink? What if they were blown so far off course that they landed somewhere completely unexpected and then, for whatever reason, could not return? Imagine a small group of Vikings, stranded on an unknown shore, thousands of miles from home. What would their lives be like? Would they try to integrate with local populations? Would their skills be useful? This idea takes us into the realm of speculative history, but it's rooted in the known capabilities and daring nature of the Vikings. They were the ultimate survivalists and adapters. They carried iron tools, skills in boat building, and a warrior spirit. Such a group could potentially leave faint traces that are only now beginning to be considered. For example, there have been claims of Viking artifacts or even genetic links found in parts of South America. These claims are usually quickly debunked by experts. Often, the artifacts turn out to be natural rocks or later European imports, and genetic links are either non-existent or explained by modern migration. It's important to separate exciting theories from solid, peer-reviewed evidence. However, the sheer persistence of these tales shows how much people want to believe in the extraordinary voyages of the Vikings. It speaks to a deep human fascination with exploration and the unknown. The idea that these ancient mariners crossed huge distances, changing history in ways we still don't fully understand, is captivating. Consider the role of secret knowledge. Did the Vikings have navigational secrets that were closely guarded? Did they possess maps or techniques that gave them an advantage? While they certainly had advanced practical knowledge, there is no strong evidence of secret navigation methods beyond their superb understanding of natural signs. Their strength lay in observation and experience, passed down from one generation of sailors to the next. According to a 2016 study in the Journal of Navigation, Viking sunstones, a possible form of optical compass, could have provided surprisingly accurate directional guidance even on cloudy days. The secrets of the Viking explorers are not always about finding new lands. Sometimes, they are about the unknown details of their encounters. How did the Native Americans truly perceive these strange, bearded men from across the sea? What stories did they tell about the Skraelings, who came and went? These indigenous perspectives are often missing from the Viking sagas, offering another layer of forgotten history. The Vikings also brought diseases with them, just like later European explorers. These diseases would have been new and devastating to populations who had no immunity. This tragic side effect of exploration is often overlooked when we focus on the grandeur of their voyages. It's a dark secret of many historical encounters. Furthermore, their exploration was often driven by a quest for resources. They sought timber, furs, and new places to fish. When they settled Greenland, they relied heavily on walrus ivory, which was a valuable trade item in Europe. The decline of these resources and changes in climate likely contributed to the eventual abandonment of their Greenland settlements, a complex process detailed in archaeological reports from the University of Copenhagen. The true secrets of the Viking explorers lie in the untold stories, the lost voyages, and the unexamined impacts. It's about the full human experience of these journeys, not just the highlights. It's about the fear, the hunger, the hope, and the incredible resilience of people facing the vast, terrifying unknown. Even today, new discoveries are made. Just a few years ago, scientists used tree rings from wood found at Lance aux Meadows to pinpoint the exact year Vikings were there, 1021 AD. This was a huge step, making the Vinland story even more real and precise. This finding, published in Nature in 2021, used cosmic ray events recorded in tree rings to provide an exact date, showing that even seemingly known history can still reveal new, stunning facts. These ongoing discoveries show us that the past is not a closed book. There are always more pages to turn, more clues to find, and more secrets to uncover. The idea that Vikings might have sailed to even more distant, unimagined places continues to spark the imaginations of historians, archaeologists, and everyday people alike. So, the next time you hear about the Vikings, remember that the story might be much bigger, much wilder, and much more mysterious than you ever thought. Their ships were more than just vessels. They were keys to a world of forgotten events, waiting to be rediscovered. And who knows what other secrets the ocean still holds, hidden just beneath its waves. Perhaps the next big revelation about Viking explorers is just around the corner, waiting for the right person to piece together the ancient puzzles.